Joining us, retired U.S. Army General and former Gulf War Division Commander Barry McCaffrey. General Kane is reportedly the same person who was warning the President, General, that we might not have enough munitions to sustain this thing for long.
Well, look, it's a political mess. That's what happens when you have government by decree, policy by whim. The president made no attempt to deal with Congress, get authorization. He really didn't engage the American people, tell them why we should do this. He made zero effort to bring in allies, not just European NATO allies, but also regional powers. So it's a real problem on where we're going. Having said that, it's clear to me that the military operation is going extremely well. There was a massive decapitation of the leadership. I mean, it's the second time in a year that we've killed the head of the IRGC and the head of the... This time they took out the political bedrock of the entire regime, killing Khamenei. I think there is a concern ongoing is where do we get out of this? Both sides don't want to continue this war, neither the Iranians or the U.S. The Israelis probably do. They want to go after the ballistic missiles. But I think the only outcome that could be positive, and it may well happen, is to get the Iranians to agree to talk, to give up their aim to create a nuclear program, and even more importantly, to get inspectors from the IAEA on the ground to ensure it. Other than that, the whole thing will be a political miscalculation.
General, is that even realistic to expect?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Iranians know they have to talk. They're despised by their own people. They probably killed 30,000 some odd students and young people in the uprising that just took place. Their IRGC is going to remain loyal to whoever's in charge. I can't imagine an air campaign stopping that. But we're going to see fractures inside Iran. I mean, their economy is a shambles. They can't even deliver water to their own people. We're seeing them run out of munitions. We're in a sensitive situation on precision defense missiles like THAAD, Patriot, U.S. Navy Tomahawks, U.S. Navy SM-3s. So we're concerned about stockpiles to continue to deter China in the Pacific. But the Iranians are really flat in their back. It's been a very ineffective, from an operational viewpoint, response. They got to stop the war. They know that. I think they're hoping for a golden BB to hit a U.S. Navy ship. Some of these missiles they're firing have 2,500-pound payloads. That is devastating. So they want to see if they can get some kind of military triumph they can point at, and then they're going to end up talking pretty soon.
Interesting. What about the rest of the region? As we were talking about a moment ago, they're not making better friends with their neighbors. Their neighbors didn't like them much to begin with, but by attacking an airport in Dubai, by attacking a glitzy hotel, by attacking ports and sending up the price of oil, they're not making it easier on the Gulf. They may have thought, the analysis is that they may have thought they would put pressure on the region to put pressure on the United States, but that seems to have backfired. What relationship or what role will the Gulf play going forward? Will they do more than just let the U.S. use the airspace?
Well, you know, one of the problems of decapitating the leadership, getting the top 48 people in the political and military leadership of Iran, is just some confusion going on. Who are we supposed to talk to? What do they think? Can we see a fracture between the 150,000 troops of the IRGC and the 400,000-man army? But there's no good way out of this, it seems to me, for the Iranians, except at some point to talk. In the background, we also got to remember that most of what happens in the Middle East is Shia versus Sunni. The Persian Shia against the rest of the Sunni community. So even though the Emirates and the UAE and other small countries were terrified of this war happening, they actually hope we end up with a regime change. I think the other thing is the Iranians are desperate. The only two options it seems to me they've got left are terrorism and going after regional oil, going after Saudi oil, Kuwaiti oil. They have the capability to do both. They've probably been reluctant to start that because that's the final straw. But they did announce they're closing the Gulf, the Straits of Hormuz. So in a short run, meaning the next 30 days, it's going to be a devastating impact on Iran and also on the rest of the world, particularly Europe and Japan, with reduced oil supplies.
All right, General Barry McCaffrey, always good to have you. Thank you.